Hey y'all, so I'm back again with our example for the day, our model problem. So our topic for today has us writing equations in vertex form and then converting them to standard form. And this light is going to do that, so just bear with me, okay? So you've already looked at the vocabulary in the notes, and we already understand that vertex is our highest or lowest point, our minimum, our maximum. And then, of course, we know that we have multiple points on our parabola that make that U-shaped graph, right? So what we're going to be doing is writing a new equation in that vertex form, which is here. F of x equals a, parentheses, x minus h squared plus k, okay? So the problem gives us -5, 8, and it gives us a point -3, -4. Okay, it's so that -5 and 8 are our vertex, and they are labeled differently than a regular coordinate points. They are labeled as HK. Please pardon the dogs. They're gonna continue to rattle, okay? So our vertex is labeled HK, the same as X and Y, but here we have to be very specific about those two values with our vertex form, so they use the letters H and K. Then we have our point, which is -3 and -4, and that's just our simple coordinate, and we use that as X and Y, okay? So vertex form, I already gave it to us. I'm going to take those points and put them in my key because we're going to use those to use substitution in order to write this new equation. So my H is -5, my 8 is K, the -3 is X, and Y is -4, okay? Now, and you see in vertex form, there's this value of A. We do not know the value of A just yet because that was not given to us. So what we're going to be doing is eventually solving for that A to write the formal equation in vertex form. So that's what we're going to be doing right now, okay? At any point in this video you're getting confused, you're misunderstanding, please pause it, rewind it, go back to it, ask questions, because I'm more than happy to help you. All right, so here we go. So first thing I also want to mention is we need to remember, and all of us do remember this, f of x is the same as what variable? Y equals, okay? So when we see f of x, that just means function, that just means equation, and that is the same as y. So I did not write f of x in my key, but I should understand that y is the same as f of x, okay? So now that we know that f of x equals y, we don't know a, we do have an x value, we do have an h value, and we have a k value. We're going to substitute these values into the equation. So I'm going to do that right now. So my y is -4, so I'm going to put -4 here. And I'm going to switch between colors, but just to show you. My a value I do not know, so I'm going to leave that one as purple today. Then my x value, so I'm going to put parentheses around here with my squared. My x value is -3. Now we want to be very careful about those negative numbers, so I'm going to put it in parentheses as well. Minus, hey, 1, 2, calm it down. And my h value is -5, so I'm also going to put that in parentheses too. Hopefully that doesn't look too crammed. And then my plus k, I'm going to add 8, okay? All right, so from here, we see that we have a missing variable, our a value. What is our a value? That is what we're solving for. So we're going to use our solving skills in order to help us get this value. So I'm going to draw my wall, okay? And now I'm going to be using black just to do the math. So I'm going to bring down -4 because there's no math to be done on that side. I'm going to bring down a. But now in this parentheses, we think about PEMDAS. We always perform parentheses first and then exponents, then multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, right? So in my parentheses, I have -3 minus -5. We must do that math first to simplify before we can continue on with our problem. So I am looking for my calculator, which my dog was eating. Oh, cool, here we go. So I'm gonna get my calculator. -3 minus -5 is 2, okay? So in that parentheses, I'm going to write now parentheses 2, still keep the squared, still add 8, okay? Now from here, PEMDAS, after we do parentheses, we do exponents. Well, I see an exponent, we have 2 squared. So I'm going to bring down -4 even more. I'm going to keep this a, but I need what 2 squared is. 2 squared is 2 times 2, or I can use my calculator for 2 squared, because maybe it's 5 squared or 15 squared in the next problem, and I get 4. So to make this more understandable, we're not going to put a4, we're going to use the 4 as our coefficient. So I'm now going to evaluate 2 squared, which is 4, and I'm going to now write this as 4a. Okay? So again, I'm just switching those 2 variables because we're multiplying, so they still go together, but I'm now putting the value in front as the coefficient. Then I'm going to bring down that +8. Now from here, we're simply solving for a. We all know how to solve for a variable, y'all. We're really good at this in class. So I'm going to continue to solve. This video might speed up at this point. So now that I know that a equals 3, I can go back and now write this in the correct vertex form, which is f of x equals a x minus h squared plus k. Okay, so I'm going to do that at the bottom. So remember, f of x is the same as y. Now that we're writing it in its formal form, we don't need those values that we substituted. So we write f of x equals, what is our a value now? It's -3, okay? Then I put my parentheses. We type x, because again, we're not using substitution anymore. We're using the format. So all we're going to be using to substitute is our h, our k, and our a. So we're going to be substituting the values a, h, and k. Okay? X minus h. Now here's where it's very, very important that you understand your integer rules and your signs. My h is -5. So I have to subtract a -5 and then square that, right? And then my k is 8 and it's plus k, so I'm going to add 8. Now, this is not fully simplified yet. Why? Because we have minus a negative. Integer rules come in here. If we're subtracting a negative, this now turns into a plus sign. So my final answer is actually f of x equals -3 x plus 5 squared plus 8. That is now my final equation in vertex form. I do want to say here, had my 8 been negative, right, we would do plus k. But if we're adding a negative, it would then turn into a minus sign. Okay, so please remember those integer rules. Practice that because you're going to need that for the video. Okay, so we just did the first part of this, look at that, writing equations in vertex form. Then it says convert to standard form. So that's going to be the next part of this video. So I want you again to go back, rewind, make sure you understood how we did this example. Then you're going to move on to the next video, which is standard form. And then you're going to continue on with your independent practice. Okay, so give me some time to erase this and I'll be right back with y'all.